Hello everyone, Zelarinth here, and today I am getting to the point where I mostly have most of my units level 60 as well as their weapons, and I think a lot of people, which includes free-to-play, should be getting close to or at level 60 at this point. So one thing that I wanted to discuss is what do you do with your energy that you get once your characters are maxed out on both their experience as well as your weapons. So one thing we were discussing in our Discord is someone said you just want to straight up put everything you have into farming attachments because that is the end game, which is min-maxing your attachments, which is true. You want to make sure you get decent attachments on all of your characters before you do what I'm about to discuss here. Now, my priority once you have a decent attachments, the key thing's decent. You don't need perfect attachments, at least not at this point. I feel that it's better, at least if you split it, to use your energy to farm weapon and character XP that you can then go into here and convert into mystery tokens on the resource conversion. So it takes 20,000 experience to convert it to a single token here. And as you see here, I have 50,000. I'm able to get two tokens if I want them. I go to the mystery box and then I can run those. And you're allowed to do 100 of these per week. And the big reason that I think this is something you should actively farm for, even though it's a low conversion rate, if you do the math, it's going to cost about 40 energy to get one single token, and you'll be able to do that about 5 times per day if you also want to do a little bit of attachment farming as well. So just to keep it a nice round estimate, we'll say you can get 5 tokens per day just farming the weapon XP that you can convert. This doesn't include the token you'll get from your dispatch missions or anywhere else that you may get XP, like in the timed event. Once you buy out the shop in the timed event, the only thing left is weapon and character XP, which you can buy in the shop and then use that to convert to coins as well. Now, the reason you want to do this is because you can get copies of Peritya in this, and in the future with Cluke, when Cluke comes out, Peritya is extremely good with her, especially at her V6, because Cluke can trigger all of her support actions, which makes it where Peritya gets close to or potentially better than QJ on the single target damage, especially when alongside your Cluke. And so just getting on this right now will make it much easier to get her to V6. Now, while we will be getting the Raid Up Standard Selector banner where you can target a specific standard elite unit, I feel like you're better off using that to get your duplicates of QJ, Tololo, and Mosin Nagant, because you can farm for Peritya here. Now, one thing that people ask is, what are the rates? Because currently the only things that really have much value in here, in terms of whether it's worth it or not, are going to be the weapons. And the big thing with the weapons is even if you have all elite weapons, one thing you can do with your purples is you can convert them to the currency that you can use in the shop. And so we'll actually go back to the shop and take a look at that real quick. If you disassemble your weapons, you will get 2 copies of the neural integration tokens, these things right here, these redundant pieces. You'll get 18 for each purple weapon you disassemble, and in the future they will add the option to buy a single pole for 30 redundant tokens. So if you kind of do the quick math on that, 2 purple weapons equals a single pole plus a little bit extra left over that you can utilize later. And so basically every 2 purple weapons is a pole here. And this is kind of also a way, while very slowly, that you can farm for some extra poles, which I think will be really important for your free-to-play. But the one thing that everybody was discussing is they do not tell you what the pole rates are of these in here. For all we know, it's 0.1%. And so one person I know dumped a ton in here, has never received a copy. But then I have people that have already received 2 copies, and they've only done like 50 polls on this. For my own example here, I've not received a Peritya yet, but I have done 42 polls, and I have received 2 weapons. I have 1 here, and then towards the beginning, I received 1 here. And so to me, that gives me about a 2 to 3% rate. But then there was another place I was looking on the Discord for people that may have collected data on this, and I did find 2 examples of people that utilize data here. So let me go ahead and switch to my right side desktop view, and we'll take a look at it here. Okay, so I have it pulled up here, this is one that I found on Discord from the CN side of things. And so this is someone that accumulated data on 725 polls on that mystery box. And in those 725 polls, they pulled 5 copies of Peritya, which is a 0.69% chance, and 13 weapons, which is a 1.79% chance. And then everything else went to those blue randoms at the bottom that don't really matter and are kind of a waste. And so we have that data. And then we have, if we go over to this one here, this is one that someone did on the global side, significantly less polls, but at 167. Now, I don't know how trustworthy this one is because it seems a lot different, especially on the lower polls. But on 167 polls, they got 4 copies of Peritya and they got 3 copies of purple weapons. And so if you take that into consideration, it's about a 4% chance of getting something decent. So it's kind of in that same range. I think they just got extremely lucky with Peritya. And who knows, on this one, I think was a multitude of people giving their data to this person. So who knows if this one could be flawed. While the CN one was a single person accumulating their data over time, from what I could tell. And so this one, to me, it seems more accurate in it. And what we can kind of glean from this, at least my opinion, is you can see that the rates seem to be about that 0.6 to 0.7% chance, similar to the limited banner rate. So even if you reduce this to a 0.6% chance of a Peritya here, and then we'll say a 1.5% chance of a purple, that basically gives you a 2% rate of getting something of value. Now, if we do the math on, if we go back into the game here, and we take a look at this, if you do the math on how many tokens you can farm a month, if you can get 5 a day, and that's not just 100% farming XP for it, that is splitting it between attachments and that. 5 tokens from that, and then 5 per week, as well as the little bit of extra you'll get from the events when there's nothing left to buy in the shop, you can estimate that you're going to probably be able to pull off about 150 pulls per month. And that's on the low side because 5 a day just from the farming, and then you have extras there. So if you're getting 150 pulls on this a month farming, and you have a 0.6% chance of getting a Peritya, what that effectively means is on average, you should at least get 1 copy of Peritya per month. And then if you have a 1 to 2% rate on the weapons, you should get 1 to 2, maybe even more purple weapons per month. So what that does is if you disassemble the weapons, that's an extra pull per month, which isn't much. But then that 1 Peritya means that you should be able to pull off getting a V6 Peritya within 6-ish months. And that doesn't, I mean, you could always lose a 50-50 and get copies of Peritya that way, so you can actually get a V6 quicker. And so I feel like this is absolutely worth the effort because just like with Sabrina, you're going to be able to get 1 copy of Sabrina per every 2 months with the guild boss, or not guild boss, with the boss battle. You're going to probably be able to get at least 1 copy of Peritya every month or 2, depending on what your ratio is of farming attachments versus farming the experience to convert. And so with that, I find it is absolutely worth it to do this. And that is kind of my plan. I will still be farming attachments, but I will be splitting my resources between doing some attachment runs and some XP runs, because my goal is to try and shoot for about 5 a day. And then I've thought about stockpiling them and doing 1 giant 100 pull here, because you can do, per week, you can do an 100 pull. And so I have thought about just stockpiling a bunch and doing a single 100 pull, and then keeping track of how my rates go on it to give more data on this as time goes by. I'll kind of just have to see on that. But overall, I think this is the best solution for especially free-to-play, as it is a way to get duplicates of an SSR or an elite unit in Peritya without having to waste your standard pulls targeting her. And she will provide a lot of value to you, especially once you get a copy of Kluke, which I assume most people, if not all, are pretty much going to be pulling for Kluke when she comes out, because even at V0, she is a top tier unit in being able to clear some of the harder content, especially the platoon bosses. So that is pretty much my thoughts on it. If you have any different opinions or anything better that you know of how to work this system, go ahead and put a comment down. and then I'll try to respond to everybody that I can see. I may even have a follow-up video if anyone has anything else they would like me to discuss on that topic. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.